The season similarly defies expectations in its deployment of cameos and guest stars. As has increasingly been the case with each successive season, viewers should expect a litany of famous faces to pop up. And given the recent excesses of The Bear, I worry this season's tidal wave of notable names, some announced, some not, some new, some familiar, would be distracting, if not downright annoying. John Cena as a fact still bothers me. But this doesn't turn out to be the case with Only Murders, even as it continues to deepen its bench of guest stars. I suspect this has something to do with the nature of the reality this show has fashioned for itself, operating somewhere between the register of vaudeville and a New Yorker cartoon. So each cameo, no matter how glossy or random, is able to be integrated in a way that fits Only Murders' general unreality. An endearing montage of the cast members' childhood footage opens the episode. The childhood videos pay tribute to the actors' creative origins and seem like they might truly be for the characters they are portraying, making it a lovely start to the new season. The plot resumes where it left off in the previous season, and the signs pointing to Saz's murder have already started to emerge. A brief blackout is brought on by a power surge when Oliver, Charles, and Mabel are celebrating the end of Charles' play from the previous season. The group remarks that such a spike hasn't occurred since the building's incinerator was closed years ago. Then they swiftly add that Saz still hasn't brought their wine back from Charles' appointment. But when they go to check on her in Charles' apartment, they find that the murder has been covered up and the body has vanished. Season 4 episode 1 of Only Murders in the Building features a murder without a body for the first time in the show's history. Charles texts Saz, who is still unable to be found, to ask her why she fled the party. Unexpectedly, Charles gets a text from her phone saying she had to make an urgent journey back to Los Angeles, even though everyone in the crowd is aware that she has passed away. The gang discovers that Paramount Pictures wants to turn their podcast into a Hollywood film, giving them the chance of a lifetime even though Charles thinks there may be foul play involved. They travel to Los Angeles in an effort to meet with Paramount and get an update on Saz, thus accomplishing two goals at once. Unfortunately, Saz's health suffers as the meeting with Paramount takes precedence. Bev Mellon, a Paramount executive, is presented to the gang and tries to get them to sign a release giving up their life rights. Mabel, Charles, and Oliver had no idea how far along their possible film was. It had a screenplay, directors, a budget, and even a cast they would meet later that evening. They just need to give up their life rights for the correct amount of money before filming starts. Despite their industry knowledge, Mabel is able to collect the necessary funds for the movie's success, whereas Charles and Oliver are unable to close any deals. The team quickly visits Saz's apartment and discovers that she hasn't been home for weeks because of the ridiculous volume of mail that has accumulated outside her door. When they get back to the studio, there is a celebration being held in their honor. At last, the cast is revealed, and they learn that Zach Galifianakis, Eva Longoria, and Eugene Levy will be playing Oliver, Mabel, and Charles, in that order. Oliver and Zach steal the show with a bad first impression, even if Mabel is confused by Eva's casting. The differences between the former actor and director are amusing and humorous throughout episode 1, as their problems reflect how different they are from one another. Thankfully, Loretta Durkin shows up to welcome Oliver and defuse the situation. The two have a moment together that nearly results in Oliver popping the question to her. But because of Loretta's recent success, Oliver feels self-conscious, which makes him choke. This starts a pattern of imposter syndrome that will resurface over the upcoming episodes. Following the celebration, Saz's apartment is broken into by Charles, Oliver, and Mabel as they return to look around. The fact that no one has gone inside in weeks confirms their concerns. His greatest suspicions are realized when Charles texts her phone to find out who is actually on the other line. When he asks who is there, the enigmatic figure responds, "Not your friend," and the plot deepens to wrap up episode 1. Their building partner Howard calls, and he assists them in fitting all the parts together. They ask him to examine the incinerator they saw earlier in the show, and when he does, he discovers the metal joints of the previous stunt woman, proving that Saz Pataki was murdered. Only Murders in the Building Season 4 is off to a hot start with a new antagonist, and a more murder than ever before.